All right, team. I hope you are hanging in there with us. We are continuing on our discussion of what these frameworks have in common. So, we've established that inquiry is a major piece that they share, and that is so exciting. We're looking now at the process skills because both of these frameworks share a very strong and rich context of students really grasping with these learning process skills, which is so exciting for us because that is a shift that we really, really care about, especially in the science and social science world. We want students to have a really strong foundation of how the world works. In science, it's a little bit more straightforward than in social science. So, one of the three dimensions of the science framework is science and engineering practices. There are 8 science and engineering practices, and they serve a purpose. One for science, and a slightly different purpose for engineering. Well, the beautiful thing is that the science standards were written with these processes or these science and engineering practices as the stems. So as you can see on the right side, the highlighted, the standard says analyze and interpret environmental data to demonstrate that species either adapt and survive or go extinct over time. Well, they have taken the science and engineering practice and they have dumped it right in that standard. So now you're automatically using that science and engineering practice to teach that standard. You no longer have to layer it in. Previously, we had strand 1, which was the inquiry strand, and you would kind of sprinkle some of those practices into the content you were teaching. In this capacity, they've already done it for you. So you can focus on the science and engineering practice by analyzing and interpret, and then you're actually doing it with the content standard that they've given you. So that is a wonderful way, an easier way for teachers to really be focused on what they need to teach and not have to worry about layering another component into what they're already doing. So for social science, it's a little bit different. It is the absolute same idea. These are the disciplinary skills. So these would be similar to a science and engineering practice. This is the method or the mode of which we're going to be learning some of our skills. And these are the four topics. So we've got change, continuity, and context, multiple perspectives, so that's a lot of primary and secondary resources, gathering and using and interpreting evidence, and causation and argument. There are a lot of similarities between these skills and processes and the science and engineering practices, which is really another element that really enriches these two content areas and further proof that they do a really nice job of merging together. So when we're looking, this is actually pulled straight from one of your units. When we're looking on the left side, this is the actual standard. And on the right side, we have the skills and processes. This is how we have aligned your units so that you can see them, they're right next to each other. And what this looks like is we have our standard, use and construct maps and graphs to represent changes in Arizona over time. And on the right, we have some suggestions of how you could use that. So we could help students look at primary and secondary resources, looking at changes over time in Arizona. We can compare information from various sources about Arizona. We could use some of those processing skills to help us teach this lesson or this standard on understanding maps, graphs, and changes over time. So these are done a little bit different. You have to actually layer them in. But the nice thing is that when we were writing these lessons that we provided for you to help teach these standards, we use these tools, these process standards to help drive that instruction. So we've really layered that in for you. And our hope is that we will continue to provide PD and chances for you all to practice layering those skills and processes into the lessons. So hopefully that has cleared that up a little bit for you and you have a better understanding of the process skills and how those two are really deeply integrated. Thank you.